Hello and welcome back to Jurasco for what I guess will soon be the end of the night revels. So I felt it quite apt that we should come here at this moment. We just took level 12, so it's all change again on the enhancement front, and I guess we could say re-enter the Tempest. We've gone for all out for the Tempest tier 5s. The only one I haven't taken is the natural evasion. I don't see that doing too much for us. On the subject of evasion, the last one I did, we were slightly over level, but the last one I did before coming here was the spies in the house. And between deflect arrows, which we had from the cat tree at the time, and the evasion, we were taking little or no damage from incoming missiles or incoming spells like acid blast or a variety of electric things they were throwing at us. So on that side of things we were in a really good place. So respect the cat tree. The only things we've kept are the things we have enough racial points for. So the first core, which is not bad for us, +1 dodge and 1 max dex bonus, and the cat scratch AoE, which I've used extensively all along of this life. It's a little bit clunky animation wise, but it does work quite nicely, and AoE, I can't complain. Deep wood we've cut right back. I'm just basically building back up in here now, and we've put everything we can into the Tempest tree. I still wasn't sure whether this was worth an investment. 10 points for 7 hit and damage. Tell me what you think on that. I guess it depends on what your situation is. If you're at the cap and really needing defences, perhaps this elaborate parry would be much more meaningful there, maybe against the Doom Reaper, say, than in our situation when we only have dex modifier of 16. It's not going to be particularly amazing, I don't think. So what did we collect? We've reacquired our growing storm, which if you've seen the earlier episodes, that works quite nicely. I tend to hit that when I've also got a boost going, or we could also hit it when we've just hit the Dance of Death now for strike through on everything. Now, like the growing storm, we have to actually hit something. It specifies there on hit, so you don't get the buff if you don't hit, so note to self there. And once we hit with something, we can strike through on everything then for 10 seconds, so that's going to be great once we reacquire the exposing strike, so we can make multiple targets then vulnerable to sneak attack, which sounds nice, or multiple targets that just aren't hammering on us if we're in a tight spot, so that sounds equally nice. So for the fourth core, very nice one, we gain the deflect arrows that pairs very nicely with this one. So we've got everything in one tree now. We don't need deflect arrows from the cat tree anymore, although it was very useful from a very early level. And the other thing this is giving us, 1 competence bonus to critical damage multiplier while dual wielding, which we invariably are. So you can see now on our newly acquired or newly crafted scimitars, if you look up towards the top, you've got +1 critical multiplier, and we can see 15 to 20 times 3 now. It was times 2. So I mentioned previously about these. I've got high hopes for them. You can see at the bottom ever bright or blue shine in the description of the durability, hoping that might help them to take less damage generally, but certainly less or none from rust monster and ooze types, so no need to change out for that. The meta line is an excellent choice in my opinion. to get around various forms of damage reduction the opponents could have. So hopefully we'll see less yellow numbers from now. And of course there's the increased weapon die in general. You might recall we were on 1.25 all the way up to, well, up to this level. And these have zero point 0.4 more for being level 12 weapons. Every level above 10, the weapons increase by 0.2 of a damage dice. So we're up to 1.65 now on these. We took, as mentioned, the what's it called? Improved critical slashing for the level 12 feet, which is allowing us now, because you won't see any keen characteristic on these, it's allowing us to slot any scimitar, well, any slashing weapons we'd like to get that, but we're dealing with scimitars, so that's what we'll be going for. The only other change I've made to the gear is to add, I know it's a very low level item, it says 12 there, but that's only because it's got a 6 strength slotted. It's a level 3, I think, from the Salt Marsh, that one, but it's the only devotion item I had. And as we have acquired 3rd level spells now, that's just a little bonus to spot, and this one, Cure Moderate. Hooray! Don't get overexcited though. My testing indicates it's certainly better than a... Oh, that was a crit. Hang on, let's do you a normal one. There you go. So somewhere in the 60s, which is certainly a lot better than our potions of Cure Serious there. And our spell power, well, it was derisory for positive, it was below 50. So now with that braces, and we didn't lose too much by, I think we lost this. Parrying we already have on the gear. Defense we already have somewhere on the gear as well. So we only really lost spell saves and a bit of MRR. So not terrible. I think most of the magic that we get thrown at us can be evaded anyway, with the exception of the force type stuff. We're still having to use the shield for the magic missile type stuff. So yes, it'll be the first outing for these new weapons, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they go. Only other gear change was that. Enhancements you've seen. Potions, gloomy potions of restoration from this event. I did make good use of those as mentioned in the Jungle of Khyber, although we still got hammered and killed by a boss beholder. 7 neg levels tend to do that to you. I am still on the lookout for a pale lavender ironstone, which would probably have saved us in that encounter. If you didn't know, those are very valuable once upgraded for stopping harmful incoming spell effects. Limited number of charges, but they do regenerate, well, it says daily. It's basically, it regenerates 15 charges when you complete a quest, I think. So, very nice item to have. I can show you on the auction house why I still don't have one. They're wanting 200 plus. I wouldn't pay that anyway, and I don't have, as you can see, 200 plus shards to give. If any of you lucky souls out there happen to have one of these things and would consider selling to Purple for a reasonable amount, let's say 50 or below, I would certainly be interested in hearing from you. What else have we got on the list here? We did White Plume, the Kundrak level 9s. Apart from that horrible Beholder death, we did okay. Not not too much trouble. Favoured enemy I forgot to mention in the last level. The most recent one we took was Evil Outsider. That will help us against Reapers and some nasty end bosses. So I figured that was worth picking up. And I think that's about it for the waffle this time around. I'm not going to show you the whole Night Revel chain. I just figured we'd go in and do a few of the smaller ones. I hope in particular that we're not going to face the same issues. I mean, I know there are a couple of boss lichers in here. I hope we're going to do alright against those, unlike some of the poor casters who end up being completely, well, almost totally useless in some cases with the immunities the lichers have. I think there's a thing where you get 0 XP. Well, I'm pretty sure there is, because one of our lot tried it the other day. You get 0 experience if you go and try and do an epic level Night Revel quest with a heroic character. I don't know if that's only if you mix with a very high level character to try and carry you through. I know when we did it with mid-epic characters and 1 legendary, the mid-epic got almost no ingredients but full XP. So I think there might be a sort of a break between heroic and epic. So I'm thinking we could, for the best XP we can try and make, we could try to set the level, say, to 19. And see what we can do. If it's taking too long or we end up really struggling, I could always knock it down. So let's try this one on 19 and see where we can get. I've no other characters coming in with me, so I'll get full ingredients, which will be nice. I might be able to pick up 1 or 2 more useful things before the end of the event. So as usual when changing things, I've got to remember to make full use of them. So the Dance of Death I need to make use of for much more AoE than we had, and I need to remember we have the Growing Storm once more.
As you enter the tavern, you notice the smell of rot in the air.
And also the Cure Moderate potion. Unnerved, because we're not in Reaper mode here. Okay. So we're going to be, as these are short quests, we're going to be going all out with the buff straight away. Oh, that only works in Reaper mode. Okay, that's a good start. So the oh, I think slashing weapons do full damage against zombies anyway. It's the piercing that wouldn't have, isn't it? So we are striking through there. That's very nice.
Can be heard from down below.
Come on then, let's be having you. Now that's a boss mummy by the looks of it, is it? And it's giving us mummy rot, thank you very much for that.
The creature hisses.
Mummy rot to get rid of, you can use remove disease and then remove curse potion, or vice versa, and get rid of that. Otherwise it keeps ticking along and you'll start suffering some negative effects. That's a boss. Can we get him in with this other one so we attack them together? Making sure we keep the Dance of Death going. Oh, we're struggling here, aren't we? Need to remove this curse. Get some healing going. We have the mummy rot again, I noticed. It's not being particularly easy for us, is it, at all? We're very close to death yet. Whew, okay. 2 lots of mummy rot, that's a new one.
Maxwell Statler nervously returns to the tavern.
So maybe it's... Is it remove curse first? I don't know, we've got plenty of those anyway. Let's see what we got for our troubles. A nice chunk of XP there. Okay. For some reason all the night revel quests you can't exit through the doors, you have to finish out. Not that it matters over much. So that turned into quite a stern test, didn't it? I should probably have started healing much earlier. Okay, newest ringleader. At least our blurry item should be having full effect here. Not nerfed by Reaper mode. Let's check the damage on the weapons. So we took, in all that we took 1 damage on the offhand, so that's looking pretty good. Okay.
An overwhelming stench assails you as you begin to explore the hideout.
Enjoy the lovely strike through, people. I'm using and abusing the Dance of Death for that. To go with the strike through abilities that we do actually have. Nice. Keep the healing topped up. So many new buttons to press now, I'm getting a bit confused. I'm also pressing one that we don't actually have. I was pressing the, for the, and I am noticing the absence of that, the exposing strike from 3rd level Deepwood Core against any boss, for instance. That followed by the tendon cut is very helpful in reducing incoming damage. And we're just going to have to manage without that for a level or 2. Strike through is lovely. The Dance of Death is really making a difference for us.
It can only be opened when the rooms are lit. Look for 2 mechanisms that will unlock the door when activated.
It helps in these short quests, you can really abuse the boost. Get in there early with the Dance of Death.
To glow. It looks very similar to a rune found
Keep topping up in between
central corridor.
Fights. Beautiful strike through again with the Dance of Death. I'm liking this. Maybe in time we might find ourselves having the best of both worlds, a crushing single target damage paired with some nice AoE, which of course an archer simply wouldn't get. like never really. I mean, I know you get the IPS, but it's very clunky to use in my opinion. Mistake there, well, and copious amounts of lag, but the mistake was trying to hit the growing storm when I had no enemy to hit, so of course it went on cooldown but didn't activate. So must remember that both growing storm and the dance of death that I just used there need a target to hit. Happy healing.
The guttural groans of shuffling undead can be heard through the door.
I would have loved, one of you's mentioned it before in the comments, the, is it Asuriel's Braces, level 12 ones from the, one of the Lord's March Plaza new quests, the Peril of the Planar Eyes chain. That would have given us some real nice boost to the positive spell power and thus the heals. I do have castigators to wear at 15. I'm not sure what our set will be at 15. Now let's see what we can do against this. As it turns out, he does have resistance against our attacks, but pretty good. Not bad at all. This item, if you don't know, the Harper pin, you get it as a reward for Harper favour in the Evening Star quests. Very useful, as you just saw there, for getting you out of situations where you've been held due to lack of freedom of movement item. The boots, freedom of movement boots, I took off at 11 to accommodate these excellent golden greaves, which are going to save us more deaths than freedom of movement would. I'm quietly confident of that. That's another, as well as the pale lavender ironstone, I would love an eternal flask of freedom of movement for purple, which you can get for mysterious remnants on any champion hunter weekend from the remnant collector in the Hall of Heroes. I'm not going to show you all the quests. I'll just try and show some of the quicker ones, so we can just see where we're at with the build. I think we're already seeing there are some nice improvements, and one significant miss. The exposing strike is quite a miss, but I don't have too much to go to re-add that. And ultimately we're building back to the 4th core in there, because that's going to give us our +1 competence bonus to critical threat range. So at the moment we just have the multiplier in here, so we have to go in here to get the threat range. But there's all sorts of nice stuff in here. The damage boost I'm sure we'll make use of, because in the longer quests I'll be running out of the haste well before I reach a shrine. Keeler is great for extra double strike. We have more hit points and PRR for the armor. There's some dex there. There's more damage here. Lots of good stuff in that tree. And then we've got the excellent exposing strike. And there we've got actually it's bypassing fortification as well by going in there. That's nice. I wonder if we could... Oh no, we said we were going into, with the last points available to us, we should just have enough to go into Horizon Walker and get the Dex Trans. Yeah, that's the plan. Otherwise I could have gone for the tier 5 in here. But I don't think actually, once we get the the 4th core, sorry, and the nice things we need out of here, I don't think there's too much more that we would like anyway. So 20 odd points in there and then 14 or so in here, I think we'll be just fine. waffling in the middle of the quest. I'm wearing the wrong glasses again. I keep using these for the persuasion bonus to UMD. Whenever I need to teleport somewhere using a scroll, I have to use those, because otherwise, as you can see, our chance is not the best. Still, even with greater heroism on. And I've just remembered there's a mummy in here. Oh, the joys of mummy rot. Let's try to save the boost for the mummy. Any kind of AoE after triggering Growing Storm is very nice, because it works on the number of things you hit, so you need to hit a good number of things in a short space of time. And we've got the mummy rot again. And I did manage to use one of the boosts there. I must have hit the wrong key in that fight. I was trying not to use a boost. But okay. Chip him down slowly. So, let's get rid of that. If we can. Remove curse, remove disease, heal ourselves up. Anything doing extra damage against these skeletons is good, because they have, as you can see by the yellow numbers, resistance against our attacks. They'll be resistant to slashing damage.
The door opens. In the distance,
however,
you can see a lever, which seems to control
we do have, I'm pressing the wrong key, I was wondering why Dance of Death wasn't triggering. We do have favoured enemy undead, and as we now have 3 favoured enemies, I think is that 6 to hit in damage against any undead, which isn't bad.
The ladder slides into place, allowing access to the rooftops above.
In case you were wondering, the Mario stuff in the game is not my strongest suit. Right, we've got the buffs going straight onto the Lich. He is resistant to our attacks, but we're doing a lot better than a poor caster would in here, I'm sure. Nice one, nice one.
The tattered form falls in defeat, and the feeling of dread that surrounded the Lich fades.
If nothing else, even if you're not interested in the events themselves, you can see they're quite quick to complete, many of them. And if you're leveling a character, you can do a lot worse, especially in Epic. The only reason I didn't wait until Epic for this is that the event is close to ending, and I thought I wouldn't reach Epic before the thing ended. These 2 are relatively long, aren't they? So I'll leave those for when off screen, I think. I just wanted to run through a few of the shorter ones just to show you where we're at.
There have been rumors of strange things stirring within the now abandoned Haywire Foundry. It all seems
as mentioned previously, my least favourite, and probably the only one I'm not particularly keen to do within these Night Revel quests, is the Smashing Pumpkins one. Basically just a box breaking exercise like that one in the harbour in the very early levels. I'm not too much of a fan of such things. Aside from that, It's a super event, and I thoroughly recommend you give it a go if you haven't already. And if not, why not? Leading with the Dance of Death for the AoE shots. That would be one strategy, wouldn't it? While the Dance of Death thing is on cooldown, attack with my actual AoEs. Why are we going so slowly here? We have always on Sapphire of Snow Peak speed. It must just be me. Yeah, look at that. Happy AoE time. So we're struggling a little bit against the skeletons, but that's normal for many a build, as they have their damage resistance. Pressing the wrong keys as well, that's quite normal for me when I've changed the build and I'm having to adapt. But I think we've seen enough to see some potential here, which is good. That's what I like to see when I'm leveling a build, some potential, like a way forward, something I can get stuck into in the future to make us successful. And I'm certainly seeing that here. Seeing all the deflected and blurry, our layers of defense coming to our assistance. Actually, with this character, unless taking an absolute pummeling from archers at the back, it probably makes sense to deal with the melee types. It's very unusual, that kind of order, but he's so defensible against archers that unless taking an absolute hail of fire, it's one missile every 2 seconds can be deflected, and the others have still got to get past his blurry, and his armor class isn't terrible either, actually.
Dormant and unsolved.
A 65% miss chance at level, that's not terrible. So both Growing Storm and Dance of Death, I'm going to say you do have to hit with both to get the effect to trigger. But when you do hit, it triggers reliably. It's not like one of these adrenaline things that just you press the key and nothing happens. It's not doing that at all. It was just me not properly understanding how to get it to work. There is a shrine there. Go on, let's make use of it. Why not? I think this will be a recurring thing in the future. Shrines to restore our boosts. Sort of looking ahead into Epic. I'm not sure with all the negative stuff said about adrenaline, I'm not sure I'll try the Fury thing, although there is plenty of double strike to be found in there. I quite fancy some, well, definitely summon Sentinel for the just for the heal, and the energy resists. We'll take that. I fancy some Dreadnought for the action boost association. And the third one, I don't know. The purists would definitely say primal, wouldn't they? I don't know what we're going to do for the third one, which may well end up being the main one. Might do a bit of experimenting with that. Oh, I made a mess there. I was wondering about dragging one group to another and AoEing them all down, but I'm not convinced the archers would play ball there. Just a quick check on the weapon damage. Hardly taken anything. I don't know if that's because we're not playing on Reaper difficulty or what, but I will happily take it. Threw in the growing storm and the haste boost there, and he's not lasted too long, even with his damage resistance. Shrines are plentiful in this one. I'm definitely not going to show you the Lord's March Plaza one. I will do it, but there are so many opponents there, it's going to take me ages to chip through them, so I'll spare you that one. So with the new enhancements, I'm leaning a lot less heavily on the whirlwind attack, because so much other stuff now is able to, well, the standard attack is now able to AoE a lot of the time with the Dance of Death, as you can see. I think I missed with the... No, I didn't miss with the growing storm. It's on there, I can see it. Now, normally you would use a hireling to pull this lever in the standard version of the quest. Here, I don't think we get this situation where all the barriers open and things start pouring through. So we'll just do it normally. The barriers do open, but unless we start smashing boxes, I don't think anything comes out, and maybe not even then. I've just got this boss weep somewhere down here now. So we've got a haste boost with his name on it. Haste boost. And growing storm should take care of him quite nicely. Will we have enough boost left to deal with the second one? This would be awesome if we could. I don't think so. We did get stuck into him though, didn't we? Dance of Death is quite a meaty attack as well, even if you don't want to trigger the AoE side of it. I think it's 50% damage. Okay, so not too disappointing there. So aside from the first one, where we nearly died, the rest have been pretty decent, haven't they? Let's see what else we've got. Have a dashed? Why not?
The woman lit the sound of ravenous groans sure sets your nerves on edge.
I'm kind of reveling in the self-sufficiency, at least for the moment as well. The the medium heal we've got is allowing us to not need to have the hireling here, which is nice. I just like to be. I'm not completely anti-hireling, as people are perhaps making out. I just like to my own character to be able to do the things it's him or herself. I think it's the
last of the skeletal
clunky element to the hirelings that I struggle with the most. You know, this business of oh, move here, do this, do that. Every little instruction has to be painstakingly done, otherwise something goes wrong. I don't think we'll make the same mistake as we did last time, bringing the two together. We're going to take them on one at a time, and I'm hoping this will go much better than that that one in the first quest did. Con damage. How much con damage did we take? Not too much. Lesser resto potion cured it. I've got a haste boost with this thing's name on it. Haste boost and growing storm. Nice job. It's looking good. I see all those nice crits going in. We've got some double strikes happening. Yeah. Nice job. Oh, where am I going? Okay. I think we might have perhaps one more to do. But you can see I think we'd just reached 12, was it? At the time when I started the recording. And we're already 3 blobs into the level. So it does go quite quickly. Go on. We'll challenge ourselves. We'll call this the last one, and we'll say this is the challenge for the AOE side of the build. How much have we improved AOE wise? Because this really is going to be a benchmark for that. You get these big packs of zombies. Now on a caster I would probably run around creating dungeon alert and waiting for an absolutely enormous group of maybe 30 plus. But we're gonna take it steady, try and eliminate each group as they come, and if we can do that and manage to show some reasonable AOE, I'll be delighted. I think we've seen enough already to know that this Dance of Death is going to be kind of a big deal for the build.
You enter the darkened building to investigate.
Okay, we're going to make use of shrines, so we're going to do haste boost and growing storm, hit everything. Yeah, definitely only one group at a time, because we are taking some to give our damage, that's for sure. So keep topped up in between. Use the shrines to restore mana and boost. Try not to show them your back. That was very good advice from one of you folks in the comments. Try not to show your back to things so you're not giving away extra damage. So try and nestle yourself in a little corner. As the person put it, it's not very cinematic, but standing here they can't get round the side of us, can they? There's the AOE going in. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with how this is working. We've had to wait quite some time for it, so again, it's perhaps fuel for the iconic argument. If ever there was an argument to be made for doing a life as an iconic, this one would perhaps be it. Because you would have 12 and all the good stuff straight away. You would have almost certainly the what am I thinking? The exposing strike from Deepwood as well, straight off the bat, because you would be a level 14 plus, wouldn't you, as an iconic? And the what's the iconic ranger? Asimar Scourge, isn't it? Scourge, however you say it. They get a pretty decent tree anyway, don't they? They get some healing amp in there, so yeah, had I had it to do again, I would definitely have made use of that, although maybe it would have made for a less complete playthrough, because we would have skipped some of the early troubles, and so people wouldn't have seen that and been aware of it if you've never tried the class or the build. I will say, when you have a situation like that, maybe a bit like starting out as an alchemist, although I did miss, in fairness, the chance to use the what's the inflict wounds SLA that's particularly good early on. Well, until later on with the alchemist, isn't it? So I suffered more than I probably should have with that. But to see something, it's often around the level 12 area, especially with the alchemist where the multivile comes, that you start seeing your build really taking off. It's a nice stage of the leveling process, and had we done an iconic, of course, we wouldn't really have experienced that, so there is that. That's me just trying to justify my mistake. I never really considered doing iconic, to be honest, but in this case it would totally have made sense. Now, against zombies we're in our element because we're not suffering their damage reduction. With the piercing weapons, the rapiers, you might recall, we were running into damage reduction on both zombies and skeletons, so that was really tough times. Not looking to set any records and go into a second group, just picking off each group one at a time. I think you can see the damage is reasonable. The AoE is beginning to shine. We're beginning to be in a much better place, that's for sure. That's the boss, so I'm triggering the haste boost. Very nice. Yep. All of a sudden it's quite cool to be a cat. So I just got another couple of urns to get. This is a very good example of one where if you were in a team you could drastically cut down the time taken. You could split up and do each side there. I think in the final section we're going to do here, you have to do them in order. I think it's in the comments here from the guard. You have to do first one and then the other, if I was going the right way at least. First registry, then refectory, he says. And that's through here, isn't it? We have a shrine if we need it. I think we'll be okay. So the registry is over there. You can use that where the pumpkins are as a guide, because there are numerous ramps and things, but there are pumpkins going up there and also up here, so you can tell really where you've got to go. And same when you get to the top here, if you think you've gone wrong or you're not sure which way to go, just follow the line of pumpkins. Like here, for instance, oh no, there's not even a turn there. It's telling you very clearly you've got to go in here. So try not to get surrounded. Hit the nice boosts. AoE them all down. That was beautiful. Happy days. Really good. I would DDO back out of here if I had one. It doesn't really matter. And now we're going back to the other one, which is over there. Thinking about it, the Asimar iconic would have given me an iconic stance to use, other than just clicking periodically on the purple dragon boost. I think I'm right in saying, look at that AoE, beautiful. I think I'm right in saying the Asimar iconic toggle gives 2% double strike for each one that you have. So for any aspiring melees, that's not a bad one at all. Really nicely done. We're still taking quite some chunks of damage to give our damage, but we're managing, we're doing alright. Every group I'm triggering the Dance of Death, the Growing Storm where possible. Yeah, we're taking quite some hits there. Treat ourselves to a bit of boost as we're getting near the end. Nicely done. I'm glad I did this one actually. I wasn't going to do it, but it's been a good test of our AoE credentials, and I think we're passing it at the moment. More than happy with what I'm seeing here. The Dance of Death, it's on a 10-second buff with a 15-second cooldown, so there will be some intervening moments, but as I mentioned, you could, if you're a better player than me, plan to use your whirlwind AoE during that time, and not when you've just triggered the buff like I did there. And the cat scratch, of course, if you happen to be a cool cat like we are. More boost. Dance of Death to finish this lot off, hopefully. Did I maybe missed it there. I'm not sure why. Maybe I just didn't hit with the attack. Get rid of these people. I think we did it reasonably convincingly there anyway. A couple of stragglers back here. Hit them with the old Dance of Death. Happy days. I suppose it does help when there are no red crowns or reapers chasing around, but reapers, we have ghostly on the equipment, so that's not a problem at the moment. No, it's the first time, and this is another huge sort of comfort thing, not having to swap over anything for a reaper or for an ooze or anything like that. One thing fits all, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. I'm not one really for swapping and changing things, because invariably, like with these glasses that you've seen, I only use them for teleporting, but I forget to switch them back. So yeah, I prefer to just keep things as is, and then I can focus on the important things in the quests, like watching the cooldown on these two very important buffs that we've got. Okay, I think that's all for this one. Thank you very much as always for looking. The Night Revels is coming to an end, so I might see if I can just bag myself one or two other nice things from here. If you don't have one, already. I guess, well, it'll be finished by the time you see it, but I hope you at least got yourselves a Hood of Unrest, because that's an amazing defensive item. Super useful, let's say, against a nasty boss, if you're the one who's grabbing all the attention from it or you're going solo. Right, I'm quite pleased with what I've seen with these tier 5 things. This Dance of Death is going to change things for us quite significantly, I think. So you can see there 200 strike through when we hit it for 10 seconds. So for 10 seconds we're able to hit 3 opponents each swing, assuming we've got 3 in front of us to hit. So that's a big change from what we had been doing, and I think it's going to, well, I think you've seen there against groups, it's going to alleviate massively the biggest problem that we've had and the biggest weakness of the build up to this point. So really good. I think I'll go ahead and finish up in here, and then we'll go to Ravenloft, as we like to do. Again, we'll have some damage reduction we'll run into, but we do have favoured enemy undead, so we should do okay in there, I'm hoping. And after that, I'm not so sure. Maybe we'll go hunting again for those level 12 healing braces that I would so like to have and don't. Okay, thanks a lot as always for looking, and I'll speak to you next time. Take care.